The Nigerian military is not backing down. In fact, it seems like they've become emboldened. Look at the massive crowd that trooped out to show them their support. And basking on this massive support, they've gone on to close their airspace. The implication of the closure of this airspace will hurt Nigeria's economy more than it will hurt Niger. Although they said they closed the airspace in order to avert an airborne invasion, but the economic implications on Nigeria's economy will be enormous. Look at this cargo plane from Turkey to Lagos. You can see where it's headed, unless they are going to another West African country before going to Lagos. If not, they are already avoiding the Nigerian airspace. And that will definitely cost more aviation fuel, more time, and more money for the end users. Yes, it poses all sorts of problems for flights leaving Nigeria to Europe. They will first of all fly westward before flying northward to continue their journey. Also, Niger might not have the capacity to police their airspace. Niger is a very large country. Do they have complete radar coverage of their country? Even Nigeria achieved total coverage not long ago. Let's even assume that they have total coverage of the western part of their country where their capital is. Do they have working fighter jets that can chase the intruding aircrafts? Well, that's the question. But Niger used to have Su-25s. No one knows whether they are working or they are still flying. But whether they can police the airspace or not, no commercial airliner will take the risk because of insurance. If someone closes his airspace, you have to respect it. Libya also is closed because there has been crisis there for a few years now. So that leaves Algeria as the only option for anyone going to Europe from Nigeria. And imagine what will happen if this problem escalates quickly. What if Mali and Burkina Faso joins Niger in closing down their airspace? Imagine the distance an airliner will have to fly westward in order to avoid these countries before continuing their journey. That will definitely double the price of the tickets, and the passengers will bear the brunt. This means that we sanctioned ourselves instead of Niger. Yes, the economic sanctions from ECOWAS to Niger was too hasty. Is it a retaliation from Niger? They've been under sanctions for the past 1 week. In fact, they were also threatened with an invasion if they do not step down or return the deposed president. Well, call it whatever you want, but that's their own leverage. That's why it's never advisable to show your teeth very early in the game. ECOWAS started out by threatening Niger with an invasion. How can they do that? They didn't think it through. Now that their 1 week ultimatum has expired, they are now saying that they prefer to use diplomacy to engage the Nigerians. Of course, this should have come first instead of threats of an invasion. That was why they humiliated the envoy that came to meet them. They couldn't even allow them to leave the Nigerian airport. It shows that the ECOWAS heads of state were hasty in their decision. And if this is not quickly de-escalated, it might soon result to that. Air France just stopped flying to Mali and Burkina Faso. And there's a rumor that France will go it alone without ECOWAS. Because it's very clear that there's serious opposition in ECOWAS country against the invasion of Niger. So they will go it alone. There's a rumor that they want to do it with the help of 2 Central African countries. Whether it's Cameroon, Congo, but the most important thing here is that France should de-escalate all their plans for the meantime. They should never consider invading Niger, because that will be seriously counterproductive. It will make the coup plotters more popular. They are already popular now. Look at the stadium they filled up. If they attack or invade Niger now, they will turn around and tell their people, hey, didn't we tell you people that France is the problem? Why are they invading us? So they will just add fuel to a fire that is already burning. Even economic sanctions are sometimes counterproductive. All the sanctions against Mali and Burkina Faso didn't achieve anything. In fact, it has made them to move closer to Russia. Yes, even the withdrawal of aid by the EU and France was a hasty decision. They should have negotiated with these guys. Hey, what do you want? Why do you think a coup will achieve what you want? Why do you think it cannot be achieved on the negotiating table? They should have tried to talk sense to them, reason with them. Then they can now say, hey, you are not making sense. We don't like what you're saying. We withdraw our money first. Then we'll be watching from a distance. If you do what you say, then we can bring back our money. But immediately this coup happened, they withdrew everything. Yes, it's their right, but it reduces their chances at the negotiating table. The military junta will no longer trust them because they already see them as people who have taken sides, who are trying to order them on how to govern their country. So they've lost that confidence that should have been established if they had stayed and negotiated a little bit longer before withdrawing the aid. That way, they can at least buy their trust. Get them as partners and say, but we are not going to fund a military regime. But all that is lost now. It's not as if the Nigerians are not suffering. All that foreign aid was meant to help them in the first place. And these military guys, they won't feel the suffering because they are the ones controlling whatever revenue that is left in the country. So looking at the whole thing, it will seem as if the foreign aid was to control Niger, not to help Nigerians who are suffering, because they are still suffering despite the military coup. Even Nigerians living in Niger are supporting the military junta.
We don't want war.
Also, in northern Nigeria, this man has some words for Tinubu.
I want to say this very immense to congratulate members of the Senate for denouncing the instruction needed by His Excellency Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, seeking for Nigerian Armed Forces to invade Niger Republic. Nigeria and the Niger, we are together. You, Mr. President, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if to say you share borders with Niger, the Yorubas, western part of Nigeria, Lagos, Ondo, Ekiti, Oyo, Oshun, if they share the borders with the Niger Republic, can you suggest for Nigeria to go into war with the Republic of Niger? So don't play with our intelligence.
The truth is, no one wants a war on his doorsteps. The Nigerians are taking it very seriously. They've deployed more military men to the borders with Nigeria and Benin Republic. They have also moved some heavy equipment in case there's an invasion. So they take it very seriously. Also, the Wagner guys are already on ground in the capital. When you look at all this, you will see the inexperience of Tinubu in full glare. Despite some people saying that this decision was taken by ECOWAS, that it has nothing to do with Nigeria alone. But they forget that Nigeria leads ECOWAS, Nigeria leads ECOMOG. When it comes to contributions of troops, of money, whatever in ECOWAS, Nigeria is always the first. So Nigeria can always influence the decision of ECOWAS. If Nigeria doesn't want war with a particular country in ECOWAS, so it will be. No one will go to war without Nigeria in ECOWAS or ECOMOG. So that's the problem, incompetence. The same way he removed petrol subsidy without thinking it through, without thinking about the impact on Nigeria's economy, without making any provision for alternative fuel, because petrol plays a major role. In fact, it's the bloodline of Nigeria's economy. Many businesses depend on petrol to power their businesses because power supply is epileptic. In many cities, there are no trams or metro that workers can use to get to work. Everyone depends on road transportation. So you can imagine the effect of waking up one day, getting to the bus stop and be told that the bus you take to work every day that costs you about 200 naira is now 500 naira. How are you going to handle the situation? That's why many have resigned from their jobs, because it's not worth it. You are paid a salary that can't take you home at the end of the month. On top of that, the transportation cost is now about 80% of your salary. There's no need continuing with the job except there's a salary raise. The fastest way to grow an economy is to get people working. Let them earn money and spend it. The more people spend money, the more the economy booms. The more the taxes the government earns. So the problem now is, how do you provide more jobs for the people? It's not about contesting an election. It's not about rigging yourself and forcing yourself into power. It's about having the idea to turn around the country. That's the most important thing. If you don't have the idea to turn around the country, what are you doing there? Are you there for decorative purposes? Just to answer head of state and the president, that's what you're there to do. You won't make a difference. You are even worse than the person you replaced. Everyone can see the failure that is Tinubu. They're only good at snatching and taking it by force and running away with it. Thanks for watching.